Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Shiny Speaks, where we inspire, break cycles, and working on our wellness. Um, this is part three of my experience as a juvenile officer. I graduated, got certified as an officer. And that's when we get to work in a facility. There's no hiding, there's no shadowing, there's nothing. You are on the front line. You are certified. They taught you everything that you need to be taught. So there's no running, no hiding or anything. You gotta face every issue. You running your unit. So I was I was placed on a unit with another officer. Shout out to Officer McFadden. Yeah, that's still my dog. Shout out to you. We was on the units together most of the time. And baby, when I tell you we was like uh 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 coffee and cream, okay? We was handling them kids. We were letting them have it. It was like, we had this, I don't know, it was just this connection between us. We knew what's up. I had her back. She had my back. And we was doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? And, it was all good and all. Because they place you in different units every single day that you come. There was unit A, B, and C. I think that's what it was. It got to a point where there was a lot of officers quitting. The former officers, they were quitting because they tired of working. They was working a lot of hours, so they was tired. Um, and then we coming in like, what happened to so and so? What happened to him, her, whatever? Oh, they quit. And I just didn't understand, because I'm like, maybe that's why. Then it started hitting me like maybe that's why they are hiring all these people. You know what I'm saying? Because like the officers are quitting, like they quitting real fast. So people that I was trained with as a cadet, they was not there no more. So we was basically like the ones handling them. We was new, and there was still some older officers, former officers that was still there, whatever. But child, was I scared? Yes. Even the first day as a cadet, I was scared. Um, um, yes, I was scared, and then all the kids are different. All the kids are suffering from something. So you can't approach them the same way, that you approach another one. And there was a lot of gang thing going on, whatever. So yeah, so you mess with one, they all gonna jump you. Um, One of my scariest moment was that there was one juvenile. He basically was hearing voices. Yes, he was hearing voices. And he would be talking to himself. I'm thinking he's talking to me. And he'd be like, oh, I hear something. I'm like, what? What did you say? You talking to me? He's like, no. Then he start talking, doing these little finger movements and things like that. And I was like, wow. It was crazy because I didn't know if the voice is gonna be like, punch Officer Gorday one day. I didn't know that. So I was fearful for my life. And it was a point where he couldn't sleep. Like it would be late at night when everybody done left. And then he wanna call chaos. It was crazy. Like he was driving me nuts. And when I tell you I prayed like never before, I prayed like never before. I was like, Lord Jesus, please get this young man out of here, because like our facility did not deal with mental illness, mental issues. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why he was here. I don't know if he was holding him for a few a few moments or whatever, but I'm like, he needs to go because like he was bigger than me. You know, they're guys. You know what I'm saying? They're boys, and they don't have nothing to do. All they gotta do is exercise and do all these things. That's all they gotta do. So, yeah, that was one scary experience, and a lot of them, will try you, will test you, will try to play game with you, will try to trick you, try to grab the keys, the radio, whatever in your hands, the pins. Like they literally was taking the ink of the pen to do tattoos on their body. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that was going on. Like the C unit was my favorite because that's the kids that did like little crimes. Or little crimes or crimes that's not violent, I would say. You know? And that's where you will mostly find like the younger kids, the really young ones. I would say 13, 16, and you will find like people that's 21. The thing is, they probably was in the system while they was really young, so they kept them there and things like that. So yeah, yeah, that was my favorite unit. The unit A, woo, the alphas. That was the older kids, okay, and I don't know what was they going through. They all had issues. Unit B, you know, they was hot and cold. You didn't know what you was gonna get. But all in all, they all had their issues. When they tell you their story, it's sad. Some of them will tell you the truth, you know, and a lot of them will teach you a lot of gang things, gang related things, and what's going on. You know, there's always one that's gonna tell you what's about to go down and get prepared for it. And since they were boys, you know, they had their little crushes on you, especially me, you know, being this fine. I said it, yeah, being this fine. There's kids. And I understood that because at their age, you know, I was crushing on people too. So, yeah. Basically that was that's really sums it up of how the kids were like, and like you learn as we go that you can't make promises that you can't keep. Because if you don't, they're gonna throw tantrums, they're gonna flood the units, you're gonna get hit. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot to deal with. You got 20 people, 20 people or 12 maybe people in a unit, and you can't really sit down sometimes. It's like as soon as you sit down, one want to go in their room and you gotta open it with your keys. Okay, so it's constant walking. Then you got all these equipments on you. It's heavy. You tired. You working 12 hours. So it was hectic, and like, you know, it's a lot. You gotta watch out for kids to not get raped, to not get bullied by other kids, to not be in other kids' room. You have to make sure they clean their room. You gotta watch them get ready for school. You gotta take them to their medication. Um, all that is, it's just, it's a lot of movement, a lot of parts, and you got to get their clothes. And if you don't do these things, they don't get what they asked for or what's necessary of them. Oh my gosh, it is hell. Like, and if they don't like you as an officer, let me tell you, they will throw pee, they will throw poop at you. Okay, they would, like, literally would do that to you. And it was hell for some officers. Like, oh my gosh, you come into work and then you leaving like with urine on you. You know what I'm saying? And poop and things like that. And like the kids that was behaving bad, we used to put them on lockdown, like lock them in their room. Oh my gosh, even that, they flood the toilets. We had to shut down waters and things like that. Oh, Jesus. I'm telling you, it was a mess. And like, you had to take them to lunch, and like the food that they are eating, I'm like, what is this? Like, the food looked like cardboard. Like, literally, to them it was good, but to me, I'm like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And some of them will be honest with you that it's not good. The food don't taste good. And sometimes their food will be bad. Sometimes they don't get their lunches. Oh, and so that's another thing. You have to pass the lunches to them, like in the morning. You basically open the door, drop the food off, and close the door. Because if they get out, some of them will not want to get in. It's a lot, okay? It was a lot on my end. Then you gotta make sure they shower. I'm not saying this in order, but they gotta shower at night. And you gotta check off everybody that showered and everybody that did not. And they know they have certain times to shower and certain times not to shower. And some of them kids will give you the biggest headache of your life. They will like wait till it's 5 minutes before shower is over. Then they want to go take a shower. And when you don't give them a shower, they raise hell. Like, these kids was hell. Like, come on now. Yeah. Yeah, they will make it difficult for you. And a lot of kids, some of the kids will have your back, especially if a new person comes from another facility. Uh the one, they will tell, like, if they don't like you like that, if they don't like the officer, they will inform like the new kid that you are cool, like you just don't play that. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, you know, the officer don't bother you. You know, some of them will have your back. Some of them will try to defend you. Some of them will fight for you. Some of them will flirt with you. Some of them will give you their phone number, emails, and all of that. Some of them will say they have money. They could take care of you. Like, your mind gotta be like really strong, like adult around these kids. They will pull it out right in front of you and jack off. Yeah, and they'll all these things you seeing, like things that could traumatize the hell out of you. So you were seeing all these things, and what we did as an officer was write them up, and they will get punished. Either they will be in their room for a day, uh, or don't get snacks. Oh, that's another thing. If they don't get their snack, all hell gonna break loose. Okay? Because they know what time snack supposed to come. It was crazy. Like, you gotta be sane to really work as a juvenile correctional officer, because it's a lot, and like it takes away from you teaching them anything or helping them through whatever hardship they're going through. And the managers, they will do things that makes like the kids mad, the directors and things like that, and we have to deal with it. And mind you, it was mostly females working on these units, and some of us are not that big. Okay, at that time I probably weighed 140. Okay, so yeah, I wasn't big at all, and I lost a lot of weight through the academy. So imagine coming in, I was losing more weight because stress level was so high. It was really high. And then you got officers that was quitting. So yeah, it's a lot to deal with. So if you're not like ready for all this, don't do it. Run for your life. And we had to write a lot of reports, a lot of reports, a lot of written up the kids and things like that. So we was busy. We was dealing a lot. Like, oh my gosh. Shout out to all the juvenile correctional officers, the lieutenants, the the sergeants, and whatever else that's after that. Shout out to y'all, man, because I experienced it, and it, to me, it was hellbound. Like, I did not like it. Like, these kids was trash the whole unit. Like, literally just like flood the whole unit, the toilet with poop in it. That's disgusting. Some of them would try to hang themselves. And like, I don't want nobody dying on me. Like, when I get to heaven, God will be like, why you let so and so die? You know what I'm saying? But we was trained for that. But like, I'll be traumatized. I did not want that to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? And like, literally put like sheets and shirts and whatever else around their neck to kill themselves for snacks. But they are kids. They don't know better. So we went through all this, and like, what they was paying us was not worth the amount of stress, the amount of work, the amount of time that we spent. And again, officers was quitting left to right. And some officers, they were so overworked that they don't come to work. So you gotta wait for somebody to relieve you. I didn't like that. And it takes forever to find somebody to come to relieve you off that unit. It got to a point where people was working 20 hours, 25 hours. The overtime was good, but it's not worth it. It's not worth my health. Like, I was dropping weight like crazy. It gotten so bad to the point where higher ups, not even the directors was in it, the assistant directors was in it, everybody else, people higher than the director of the facility came down to work. That's how bad it was. We used to have 3 units. Them 3 units became 2. Why? Because we didn't have enough officers to put on these units. And like, because the kids are so smart, they know we don't have a lot of officers. That's when they turn up the most. And I remember the day that I had enough. It was 3 units, was raising hell. And I had a lieutenant who was really lazy. Like, I love the sergeant. Shout out to Sergeant Akinola. I heard he's a lieutenant right now. An African man of God. Yes, yes, sir. But my lieutenant, oh, he sucked. He was so lazy. Like, yeah, so the 3 units was turned up, and we could not control them. And we had our CERT team was asking the lieutenant, do they need to come back? At that time, everybody done went home, and he was like, no. And like, the unit that was clean, I think I was on Unit B at that time. Yeah, Unit B. The unit that was clean, right? One of the kids, mind you, lockdown time is past. So one of the kids who don't want to go to sleep took the trash after one of the other juvenile done cleaned it really nice, because we used to let kids that behave well, like, clean the units, you know, give them extra snack, and you know, like, especially if they get bored, we used to reward them. This juvenile that didn't want to go to sleep took the trash and threw it across the whole unit. The whole unit, like milk, whatever they eating that day, that evening. It was all over the floor, and I was just like, oh my gosh. He took some of the food and smeared it on the wall. Then we had this bleach, this bottle bleach. That's why the training has said, do not leave nothing on the floor. He took the bleach and threatened to drink the bleach and kill himself. Just, you know why? Because one of the managers promised him some chips, and she left and did not give him the chip. So he said, "You lied to me," and he took it out on us. Like, I was already tired from the other day, and I gotta deal with this. That's when I knew it was over. And I think it was that same night I took a sheet of paper. I didn't type it or anything. I took that sheet of paper and I wrote my 2 weeks. And when I tell you, I was at peace with my decision because I had had enough. I didn't do a year. It was too much. It was too much for me. It was too much on my body. I felt like, yeah, it was too much. Shout out to Officer Reed, yes, who was a really nice, a good person. I appreciate him. When we needed him, he showed up, and he was like really fun to hang out with. You know what I'm saying? Officer Rogers, yes, shout out to you too. We was all in this together. My other dog, Officer McFadden, shout out to you too, girl. Shout out to Sergeant Akinola. We held it down, you know what I'm saying? But, it was time to, part our ways, but we held it down for a good amount of time.